Howdy, everybody, and welcome to Random Rhapsody's Æther-Shanties. I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and game master for the SAGAS campaign, and joining me around my virtual table tonight are Alyssa, Joe, KOINES, Nico, and Nobody. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Yo.
Love it. Now, before we begin, we do have a few announcements to get through, starting with a word from the sponsor of this campaign, SAGAS. SAGAS stands for Setting and Genre Agnostic System, and was created by TTRPGs. It's a universally rules-light TTRPG that's designed to help you tell any story in any world imaginable. You can choose from over 100 unique features to build a character, or you can use the guidelines to quickly make your own unique abilities. SAGAS promotes helping allies over helping yourself, and encourages teamwork to succeed in challenges. Using the smooth and fast combat rules, you can describe epic team combos that you can use to take down your foes. In any setting imaginable, SAGAS provides a smooth integration of rules to create a unique framework that allows you to tell your adventures. It uses a check-based roll under resolution system, which is unique to most TTRPGs. There's a 35-page SAGAS playtest, which is available on DriveThruRPG, and the Kickstarter has been funded, so the book will be coming out soon. You can find that link in the chat and show description. This Wednesday, we're going to be back with another episode of Curse of Strahd, our Sonnet of Blood. The team has just murdered the sheriff of Varos, assisted one of the nobles in taking over the town from the Baron, and they're about to have a festival to celebrate this achievement. It's probably going to be a lot of fun. Now, you can keep up to date on our schedule and everything we do here on the network by following us on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV, on Twitter as @random_rhapsody, on Blue Sky as Random Rhapsody, and on TikTok as Random Rhapsody_TV. And that's going to be it for the announcements. So join us as we return to the multiverse and join the crew of the Wayfinder and their Æther-Shanties. And we're back. Now, you should know that we offer up a coin called the Random Rhapsody coin to whoever wants to do the recap each week, which also includes me. And I doubt anyone really wants me to have that because I can use it in all sorts of horrible ways. Whereas if our players use it, they get to re-roll any roll they want. Pretty useful. Well, who wants to do that recap this week?
I'll go again.
Okay. Well then, Zolos, tell us what happened last time on Æther-Shanties.
Well, we came up with the name of our ship a little bit, the Wayfinder, to find our way home. Very clever. Made our deal with the hippo people. They gave us we had to buy supplies. They didn't just give them to us. And we're supposed to transport some cargo to the Rock of Vral. Find this guy, hand him the cargo. Turns out we figured out we're smugglers. I don't know if that's I'm excited because I've always wanted to be a pirate. But I don't know if the other people are too jazzed about the fact that we're space criminals now. Figured out some stuff about our ship. They don't know how the language, so they couldn't help us with that. But we're fumbling our way along. They figured out some basic things, so we're good. Got to the rock, and we've got a couple of short people on our crew, and they're good ones. But there's a bad one on the dock. Very bitter little gnome. Wasn't at all charmed by yours truly. Which, come on. Everybody loves me. Had to pay a lot of dock fees. We damaged some stuff while landing. Maybe that was why we had to pay some dock fees. I'm not blaming Skarn. Skarn did a great job. It was just, first time. And now we're looking for a bar to find the guy that we're supposed to give the stuff to. And, yeah. It's all kinds of fun. We're in a new place. The Rock of Vral. Should be all kinds of joy. Watch out for little people, though.
Yeah, there's a halfling running around the multiverse right now that's pretty grouchy all the time, and
I don't know what you're fucking talking about.
People, so. But anyway, there you go, Zolos. There's the random Rhapsody coin. Don't forget to use it. It's only going to last the session. Okay. Well, Wayfinder crew. You are currently making your way down the narrow streets of a hodgepodge city built on the flat side of an asteroid. The vibe around you in this area is Shadowrun meets Firefly meets Disney's Treasure Planet, which means that it's a strange just amalgamation of technology, the Wild Wild West, and arbitrary nautical themes all rolled into one. There's street vendors hawking exotic goods and foods. There's cloaked figures haunting darkened alleyways. And sex workers plying their trade along the street, which is, of course, a legitimate occupation within the multiverse, and in no way bears the stigmata that some Western civilizations consider it. You are ultimately looking for the Rock Rat, a place of business that you've been told the recipient of the cargo you're transporting, I kind of tripped up on that one. You're looking for the Rock Rat, where the person you're supposed to deliver the cargo to is rumored to hang out. You're not quite sure where that is, and the city is fairly big from what you've seen flying over it. So, with that in mind, Wayfinder crew, what do you want to do now that you're on the Rock of Vral? Besides staring.
Well, we're looking for I'd say let's just find the pub or the bar we're supposed to go to. We're supposed to hunt this person down. We have a location. Might as well check it out. See if we can find it at least.
Okay. What are you doing to look for the Rock Rat? Are you just kind of going to start wandering down streets, hoping for a neon sign, or you're trying something else?
I mean, is there anybody like walking around? Are there any shops?
Yeah, as I said, you're kind of walking down the street right now. You can see a lot of street vendors out there, just with tables and kind of underneath tents, selling all sorts of crap. From mundane knickknacks to exotic foods, fruits, vegetables. At least what you assume are fruits and vegetables as you're kind of looking about. There's plenty of people walking around. Like I mentioned, there's the sex workers walking around, plying their trade. There's just people shopping, walking up and down the streets. There's tons of people about.
Do we want to go do a bit of shopping and then ask them if we buy something? Maybe we'll, ask them where the bar is, or
sure, let's do it.
A lady or lad of the night. What I guess, yeah, I mean,
right? They'll know all the dirt. They get people to talk when they're very comfortable.
Yeah, but we might actually, I mean, if you're going to get info from them, I mean, you might have to engage them and not just ask them questions.
Do we have the funds for that, though?
Oh, yeah.
Our funds are pretty limited at this point.
Well,
we spent basically half of what we had to just park.
You got to spend money to make money, baby.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start shaking it myself and start making some money for us.
Is anybody into the color green around here? Is anybody going for him?
Yeah, I'm exotic.
So what are you trying to do here, Boomy?
Well, I guess we'll approach a street vendor, like maybe one of the ones with some of the food or something like that, and just start perusing. Ask them, it's like, hey, what you got here? Well, what is this stuff?
Okay. Yeah, you walk up to a nearby stall. The individual running it is it kind of looks like an insectoid type creature. They have mandibles, they have antenna, very large bulbous eyes. In Loroupan terms, the head kind of looks like a grasshopper's, but the body is much more rounded. It has 4 spindly arms out its sides, kind of moving about and just kind of dusting all of the items that are on its table. You said you're wanting to go to one that has like fruits and vegetables, and they have like things that look like spiky melons and very, very large looking rind objects that kind of remind you of like a citrus fruit, but about the size of your head. There's things that kind of sort of look like apples, only they're not in your average reds or greens. They're bright blue. And there's a thing that looks like a bunch of clusters of berries as well that are just dark black. As you approach, it kind of chitters a little bit, and you hear this odd sort of sound coming out of its throat, which doesn't really make a whole lot of... it doesn't really... It's difficult to, like... It just sounds like it's really weird sounding. And then it kind of looks at you once again, and in a much more, like, halted, kind of broken common. What you want?
I mean, are some of the fruits more like maybe like handheld, like like an apple kind of thing?
Yeah, there's the apple-looking ones. The bright blue apple-looking things are about hand size.
Well, I mean, he goes, how much are these little jobs? Point at the bluish-looking apples.
The creature looks down at them and says, 2 Quabar each.
Fuck me. Okay, he's gonna just hold out. Shit, that's a bad idea because it'll pick the most expensive thing. All right, we're not from around here. What's he said Quabar?
Quabar.
Is that How about in other terms, other denomination? What exactly is that?
So it reaches into its pocket and comes around and then holds up in its hand 2 very small, silvery metallic-looking coins, about the size of, say, like a quarter.
Looking through our stuff, did we notice there's some of those in there? Is there something similar?
There is definitely something similar in the bag of coins that you currently have. You have like maybe enough for a dozen pieces of fruit if you really wanted.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but Zolos is gonna be like, he's gonna take 2. He's gonna give him 4 bits. The 4 pieces. And just be like, just have a couple to think to stack on, and then he's gonna ask him. He's like, hey, we're looking for this little gin joint called the Rock Rat. Does that sound familiar? Have you heard of a place such as that?
Make for me a persuasion check. I think your DC for this is going to be a 5.
With my little honeyed word, or is it honeyed word or sweet words? Do I get to use my D6 with that, or do I go sweet talk? Yeah, it's a D6 now. Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
All right. Hoo! That is 1.
Very nice. The creature cocks its head. Everyone knows the Rock Rat. They give you some directions.
No one. Perfect.
They do sit down and give you some directions. Go down this street, make left, go blah 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 blah. Based on what they're describing, it's probably in your terms like maybe a quarter of a mile away in the city itself.
Mm.
The creature then kind of lowers its head and moves it towards you and says, "Newcomer, right?"
Very new, yes.
Dangerous.
The Rock Rat's dangerous, or the entire place?
Well, both, but Rock Rat specifically. Dangerous place.
I appreciate the warning. Any advice?
Don't go there.
Great advice from this guy.
I wish that could be the case. We do have to check it out at least once. We're supposed to be meeting somebody. But I appreciate the warning.
The creature bows its head to you.
And I guess he goes, when we come back by, it's like he's going to point at that. He said it's like a citrus fruit, like the size of our heads. He goes, I'm checking one of those out next time. And he's like, I just can't carry it right now, but I'm checking one of those out when we come back.
5 bits.
I will keep that in mind. I'll see you again. Don't worry.
The creature nods its head and kind of bows at you a little bit. You now have 2 blue apples that you can put down in your inventory. They're like when you pick
Where does
them
that
up,
call them? Blapples.
Yeah. The blapple is slightly cool to the touch. Like as though it had just been taken out of a refrigerator, if you knew what a refrigerator was, and those things existed here. But,
like a bag of colding.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's actually like, it's not ice cold, but it's cooler than the general ambient air around you, which is peculiar.
Does it have, like, is there like a hard skin to it, or is it seem like it's easily malleable, like he could just bite into it, or does he have to peel it? Or?
If you kind of push on it a little bit, it feels malleable, like you could probably bite into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to be safe, he would pull out like a kind of like a dagger and just start kind of carving it up like an apple. See what it looks like on the inside, and then he'll take a bite.
Okay.
He's eaten worse things, I'm sure.
You cut into the piece of fruit, and as the wedge comes away, you're kind of taken aback because the inside of it is actually bright green.
Oh.
It's very interesting.
Yeah,
it's extremely juicy. Like, have you ever cut into an overripe peach and then the liquid just immediately starts spilling down your hand? That's kind of the same effect that happens here. Like, there's just a lot of liquid that just kind of dribbles down your arm. It's sticky. It's kind of sappy a little bit. When you take the bite, however, the aroma smells very, very floral and very, very appealing. When you take a bite into it, it's like, have you ever had a durian before?
I have not, but I've heard it's a very interesting flavor.
Yeah, a durian kind of tastes like a rotten onion a little bit. This tastes more like pond scum.
Yum.
I think your mic went out again.
Oh, yeah. As he takes the bite, he's not going to show. He's going to keep that happy stoic. He's all good. He's going to cut off a piece and hand it over to Boomy and just like start walking away.
Yeah.
You take a bite too, Boomy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I imagine for a goblin, it doesn't taste terrible, but it's definitely funky.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is for Zolos, who's used to the high life and eating all the best shit. He's so good, yeah.
Yeah, about 30 seconds later, your mouth goes completely dry. Then you just have that chalky dryness in your mouth.
I don't know if it's because he's a bug, but that's not a... It looks pretty, but it don't taste pretty. I feel bad about telling him I was going to get one of those big ones.
Worse.
He'll hand it. He's like, "You guys want to try and see if we can all enjoy this?"
Didn't look like you enjoyed it.
Well, maybe it's an acquired taste. He'll cut off another piece. He's in it to win it. He's in it to win it. Maybe I just didn't like the first piece.
Yeah, okay. I imagine you're all doing this as you're walking down the streets as well. And I'm not gonna lie, the second bite's worse than the first.
And his mouth is dry. He's like, oh. It's like, Doc, I'm almost tempted to ask you to spit in my mouth just so I have something, but I'm not gonna.
We have water to drink, I hope.
Do we have canteens on us, or?
I would certainly hope so.
All right, then he'll take a drink of that and not get kinky about it.
And we were all here for the moment that Joe asked somebody to spit in his mouth.
Hey, dude, Zolos is down to clown. I'm going to tell you. If the opportunity arises, Matt, you and I are acting out some special.
Wow.
Heard that. Keep Zolos away from the sex workers.
Yes.
Yep. Keeping a close eye.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we had more money, he definitely wouldn't have gone to the bug, okay? Let's just say that. He's not used to paying for it, though. I mean, it just comes to him.
Ask them if they want to do a collab.
Hey, your page or mine? You know what? Both. We'll advertise them both.
As you say this and continue on down the way, you have adequate instructions, and it's not like super duper hard to find the place. After a few twists and turns and walking down a very, very unsavory looking alleyway with some very unconscious people lying on the side of him, you eventually step into another street and find there, not far, a rather filthy looking place. Now, how does one really describe a bar on an asteroid in the middle of outer space? Well, you've never been to this filthy, decaying bar before, but many of you have seen its kind before. It's a portside tavern, plain and simple. And the fact that this port fronts the depths of wild space rather than the depth of an ocean makes little difference. It's a place for crews to lose some money, drink themselves blind, and maybe, just maybe, get into a nice diverting brawl. The building is ramshackle. It is made mostly of metal. It appears, or maybe stone that looks like metal. It's kind of hard to tell. The sign hanging on the front of the building, just above the double doors that lead inside, is of a creature that kind of looks like a golem from Pokemon. You know, a big old rock with a weird-looking little head that's kind of shaped like a rat, arms and legs kind of out like that, but it has a really long tail that's kind of wrapped around it a little bit on the carved sign. Doesn't have, like, lettering saying the rock rat. It's just a picture of a thing on wood. And two double doors that look like they kind of swing and flop both ways. The outside is covered in posters that are old and worn and faded. There are windows, or at least looks like what were meant to be windows, but they have this kind of angled, shingled metal that just block the view whatsoever looking inside. You can see little cracks of light, and the way it's designed, it almost looks like the grating can be moved up and down, like if someone wanted to look out or maybe shoot out of it, they could do that. So it definitely gives you the impression that it's very much, down and dirty kind of place. Now, you all hesitate for a moment as you examine it, but you don't really see a whole lot of people coming to and from there. The streets around you is, for the most part, vacant. It is somewhat lit. There is like a few tall street lights every now and again. Some of them flicker on and off. Some of them stay on. But it's very much that kind of Blade Runner vibe kind of thing. So what do you all do?
Just a quick question before anything else. Is there like a drinking age in Jura? Is that a thing at all?
Drinking age in Jura is kind of based on species adulthood standards. So whatever your species is considered an adult, that's the drinking age. It differs from species to species.
Okay.
You being an individual who no one's really quite sure how old is adulthood.
Not to mention
really,
your sheer size, you could probably drink like a 50-gallon drum. And just be like, oh, I feel a little tingle in my pinky.
Yeah, just, worth remembering. Skarn is 18. They're a kid.
Well, isn't Boomy like 3? 4?
Yeah.
It's just based on species.
Yeah.
So it's literally a rock rat is the mascot, and
yeah, that's not what I was hoping a rock rat was going to be.
I was expecting, it to be something a little more clever, but that's, yeah, sure.
It sure is.
Well, shall we go inside?
I mean, it's probably weirder if we just stand around outside. If they can see us out here, they're gonna be asking questions.
Zolos walking in there, pretty as a peacock, with his fucking outfit.
Fashion, baby.
Well,
Okay, that one's the ball. Okay.
yeah, so I kind of gave y'all a little cool map because I hadn't made a map in a while and I just wanted to make one. So there you go. But there is the rock rat there right in front of you.
And nobody's on the door, I guess, looking at that. And
No, nobody's at the door itself. It's just a pair of double doors leading into the place. The road, like I said, is kind of vacant right now. There's not a lot. You don't really see a whole lot of people moving back and forth, or really anybody.
I didn't realize nobody was a bouncer.
It's true.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
need all the side gigs you can get these days.
Right?
didn't even realize I walked right into there. All right, keep fucking forgetting that joke. It's there. It's so easy to make. Well, yeah. I mean, he'll kind of walk up to the door. I mean, can he hear anything inside?
Oh yeah, there's. I mean, well, make me a perception check. I feel like you're just aiming for a 6 here.
The one, it's a 10. Going for 3.
Very nice. You kind of step close to the door and pause for a minute, listening to the other side. You can hear a little bit of indistinct chatter, but like you don't hear any music playing or anything like that. You can definitely hear sounds of like a little bit of chatter though, and like the clanking of glasses and things like that. But that's really about it.
All right. Well, I just feel like he's like, all right, let's go in. What was the guy's name we're looking for, by the way? I can't remember.
Joss Crowburn.
Yeah.
I'll
Why
just-
are thingies different?
What's that?
My thingies are different. Hold on.
There are
Your thingies are
thingies.
different.
Yeah, my thingies.
Hmm.
Hey, let's
Okay.
What do you mean your thingies?
Alyssa looks so
Oh.
confused.
Yeah. Like my health and effort on my little thingy, my little
Oh.
token. I'm trying to fix it.
Gotcha.
Don't worry about me.
Okay, no worries.
I'm good. There we go. I'm good.
Okay.
That's where I was.
You open the door and step inside, and
What the?
as you walk into this bar, you can see
Whoa.
it is not very well lit. It is fairly dark, though there are occasionally candles that flicker with a little bit of light. You can see that the bar is somewhat filled at this point. The moment you step through, you can see like just a dozen or two sets of eyes pointed immediately towards the door. But you don't have much of a chance to see anything beyond that, because as you all start just filing in, something very, very large obstructs your view. As you enter, you see a mountain of mottled gray flesh crammed into a tight-fitting black suit that blocks your path. He's standing directly next to a low table, and he's clearly blocking your path. The obstacle kind of growls at you all as you just kind of gaze up and up. Other than you, Skarn, you're a little bit more on eye level. The obstacle says, "Weapons. Check 'em or lose 'em." You all kind of. What's that?
I mean, fine with me. I don't carry any, so.
The obstacle.
Yeah, sure. Can I roll to try to hide something in my pocket?
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna put while we're like putting the stuff down, I'm gonna put down like my whatever we have, like a club and a crossbow or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
club and crossbow or whatever, like dagger or whatever, like those weapons I have. But I'm gonna make sure to stick my teleportation wand in like my back pocket or inside my clothes somewhere.
Yeah.
Try to conceal it.
Okay. Roll a stealth check. Or a hide check, I suppose.
What's that gonna be? A D10?
Yeah, it would be a D10 unless you have anything that can help you with that. You're aiming for. Well, he's a big dude, and he's kind of squinting down at y'all. You're not very big, and you can kind of back up behind your friends. So I feel like this is probably just going to be a 5.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I have the small trait, which it doesn't explicitly say that, like, stuff like that is, but I just feel like, you know, he's kind of harder to notice being small.
Oh.
6. Yeah.
You kind of meld backwards, and you're kind of pushing your teleportation item into your pocket, and the ogre, because that's what he is, obviously an ogre, points directly down at you and says, "You, what are you fiddling with? Put it on the counter."
Just my medication.
Or I need to search you.
Shit.
Zolos is just handing over his stuff. He's like, I got. He's just looking back at Booey's like, dude, they just told us it. It's like, all right.
Don't break it.
I'm careful, is what the ogre says. That's what he is. He is an ogre. He is tall.
You better be, because Boomy's the name. You break my stuff, I'll blow you up.
Make for me an intimidation check if you want to.
Hell yeah.
This is going to be a tough one for you, though, so I'm thinking you're aiming for a 3.
He's gonna get a 1 now, though. What? Oh, it's the worst it could have been.
Oh.
I was hoping for that 1.
You tell that to the bouncer, and he just kind of grins at you a little bit. I do my job.
I know he's not real convincing, but he's blown some of us up once or twice. I mean, it's by accident, obviously, but so it's not out of the realm that he could accidentally blow you up at some point.
Does anybody else attempt to like hide a weapon on them?
No. I only have basic weapons.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I take the big giant crossbow, or I guess I would take it over here and swing it up in front of me so I could take the strap off, and like it's almost as big as I am. And then I take off of my belt my short sword, which looks like a long sword when I'm holding it, and put it down on the table. And then out of my boot I pull out the club and I put that up on the table. And then I duck behind. I duck behind my friends.
Once you finish putting all of your weapons up on the counter, the ogre steps towards it, places them all in a sack, just a cloth sack, before tying it up and putting a little wooden tag on there with a number. He then hands another wooden toggle with the same number on it and passes it over to one of you. Claim wouldn't leave, the ogre says before stepping back to allow you all to pass. As you're making your way around the ogre, you get an actual good chance to look around this bar. The rock rat ceilings are low, and from the look of it, they were probably white once. There are oddly scented lamps and candles around the room, and an interesting selection of pipe that blends burning around the room, making it a very odd-looking sight. Now, the floor is covered with a light coating of sawdust or something that looks similar to sawdust, possibly to sop up spilled drinks or other fluids, maybe. The tables are all heavy. They seem to be rough wood that are just covered with carvings and initials and generally tasteless graffiti. The patrons match the environment. Seedy, rather worse for wear, and almost humming with an undercurrent of violence that is barely repressed. Of the 24 or so people that you can see, only 2 or 3 seem like they're not dulled with alcohol. Most of the customers are your run-of-the-mill sailor-looking types, deckhands, or something similar. Most of them are drinking very heavily from very tall flagons. And the scent of alcohol in this area is just overpowering. Only the occupants of 2 of the tables seem different. One table near the door is occupied by 3 individuals in blue tunics and brown hoods covering their face, but as they kind of move about, you can see what appears to be beaks protruding out from underneath the hoods. On the waist of their tunics, you can see where sword belts used to be buckled, and there are marks along their side that imply that weapons were there at one point. There's another table in the back corner where 5 figures are seated around it. 4 of them are very large, bulky, humanoid looking individuals that are very, very much in their cups, swaying drunkenly, laughing softly to each other. But the 5th one, the one in the center, does not show any signs of intoxication whatsoever. This one also appears to be humanoid, but this one seems to be cut from an entirely different cloth than their 4 companions. The 4 are big, burly, beefy, all wearing kind of similar outfits, but this one is clad almost entirely in black leather. This one is clad head to toe, even a hood up over their head, all black, very, very edgelord. Except for the only color that you can see is a neckerchief that's tied around their neck that is bright, bright red. This one seems to be eyeing all of you suspiciously as you make your way into the bar. As you enter, the occupants of this table all seem to catch the skinny one in leather's eyes, and all of them kind of look over towards you for a few moments before turning back and kind of talking amongst one another. Now, as you make your way in, there is several open tables, most of which are towards the center of the bar, and you can see a young-looking humanoid woman kind of moving about the bar tables, carrying a tray filled with glasses. There is an individual behind the bar itself, less humanoid-looking, more animalistic. They have a long, skinny tail that seems to be holding a bottle of alcohol over its head and pouring it into two of the big old mugs that it's holding with long, outstretched fingers. So, what do you all do?
Ask the bartender if he's heard of this guy.
Try to be a little subtle about it. Don't just come right out and say it. Buy a drink or, first, and let's not just throw this name out.
Yeah, we'll
Could be
play it
dangerous.
cool. Let's get some bottle service, am I right?
But yeah, we'll go up to the bar.
There are 2 seats open at the bar. The rest of them do seem to be occupied right now.
Just remember, we don't have much money to play with here.
Got enough to play with.
Well,
He's just
so we
like-
could buy food and restock the ship and.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of great fruit that's staying. He just starts laughing. He's like, well, we're not going to go crazy. Don't worry. Plus, we could find work here or something. I guarantee there's a job or something we could do. I mean, yeah, how tall are the stools?
Standard bar stool size. You know, you can sit down easily. Boomy would have to climb up a little bit. But...
Yeah, he's gonna look. He's like, "You want to leg up?"
Boomy's just standing on top of the bar stool.
I got it.
Because he's got no shame. He'll pick you up like you're his child.
Okay, so the 2 of you are are sitting down at the bar. Well, Boomy's standing on the bar stool, but you're there with him. Dr. Bloom, Skarn, Lark, what are the 3 of you doing? Are you following up to the bar, or are you doing something else?
So yes, I think Skarn is following the others, but it's not going to sit down. It's sort of hovering behind them in that kind of awkward, nervous way, like you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing or where you are. It's very uncomfortable here, and it's trying to follow y'all's lead.
Okay.
I'm just gonna hold on to like Skarn's like a pocket or something. Like it's gonna be like
I don't know if you know the American prison vernacular of holding somebody's pocket. It's not a good thing.
oh, okay, belt loop. I don't know.
Yeah, I got it.
You guys.
No.
All right, Google
No.
prison holding someone's
thanks.
pocket.
It's okay.
No.
It's okay. We're good.
Deadpool taught me what a prison pocket was, but the whole holding that's
You
not.
know what?
No.
That'll be involved at some
No,
point.
thank you. No. Fine, I will hold on to Skarn's pinky finger. How about that?
There we go.
How about that?
You know what?
Okay.
It'll be like a parent and child. It'll be adorable.
Two very scared people just.
Zolos would get the bartender's attention. And I mean, now we speak common. I mean, are there other languages that? Because I mean, that wasn't in 5e. You come with languages, but I mean, is there other languages we could speak, or do we only speak common?
I'm sure you all speak your native tongue, what
Yeah.
species tongue, whatever that would be.
Yeah.
If you
Well-
know a few other languages, that's kind
Well,
of
I mean,
personal thing.
he'd get the. I guess it looks like a monkey
A
creature.
little bit, yeah. It does kind of look a little bit simian in the facial features. Big O ears, kind of roundish cheeks and mouth, kind of squat nose, big O dark black eyes, like completely black, no color to them whatsoever. The bartender's hair and beard are both kind of very orangey color, like pumpkin orange color. They're wearing your typical white apron and that sort of thing. Very obviously, they're the bartender, who looks up at the two of you as you approach and sees Skarn standing behind the group and Lark just kind of hanging on to Skarn. Dr. Bloom, what are you up to?
I'm torn between trying to essentially try to insight check why we're being looked at the way that we are, and just sort of quietly like hovering behind the group in a sort of protective ultra. I have those big wings for a reason, right? So I'm this big fluffy bird that'll probably just in case, sort of hide people from view. I'm rather torn, unfortunately. So I think I'll just follow for now,
Fair enough.
and then try to make a decision. Must protect.
I mean, if you want to try to insight them and try to figure out why they're staring at you, you're welcome to roll an insight check.
I mean, it's worth a shot.
I think you're. This is. I mean, you're just kind of glance. You're studying. You're looking over and studying them, trying to discern why they're staring at you. Aim for a 4.
Aim for a 4. Okay. Boop. It's a 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noise.
While your friends are getting the bartender's attention, because it doesn't happen right away, Dr. Bloom, you're kind of watching them, and the vibe you're getting is one of what's the way I can put this?
Matt,
Yeah.
I've got a friend who's watching, and he's saying that your volume seems really quiet compared to us.
Really? Okay. Good
Yeah.
to know. Let me double check that real quick. Test. Hopefully I'm sounding better now. Anywho, the vibe you're getting, Dr. Bloom, is that they're looking at you in the way someone looks at the side of a beef. Or more specifically, this is like the look of somebody who is like appraising your group. Trying to decide whether or not you're a threat and whether or not you have something valuable enough to steal.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Eventually, you notice that the simian-looking creature behind the bar has noticed Zolos and Boomy and has made their way over to you. He is wiping glasses with his with a bar rag as he approaches and looks the two of you, because the two of you are the ones sitting behind at the bar, with three of your friends protectively standing behind you. He says, "Is there a particular reason you're crowding my bar?"
I just look over at Boomy and be like, wait, and then I'll look over my shoulder. He's like, oh, god damn it. I didn't know they were right behind us. I apologize. Hey, it's like, he goes, why don't you guys go grab a table so we're not all...
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
Boomy, no, you're fine. Boomy and I will be over there in just a second. And then, if they...
What was that, Coins?
You want... I mean, there's multiple open them if you want.
There's a ton of tables. Pick one. You sit right here. What's up with this guy?
You do notice that at one table there is a dude who's completely passed out. His head is lying on a plate of what kind of sort of looks like mashed potatoes, maybe? It's just gray, starchy sludge. His face is just down in it. He's snoring a little bit.
That seems normal.
Zolos just be like, all right, I guess if they have walked away at this point, he's like, looking at the pitchers, I guess people are, or the tall glass people are drinking. How much are those?
For the beers, which is what most people are drinking, it seems, is just a couple copper pieces each.
I mean, and I guess when he says copper, I mean, he's like, he'd hold out like a silver, be like, it's like, is that gonna be good, It'd just be like, if we can get around, and I mean, I guess as I saw, there was like a barley or a maid or waitress. It's like, if we get around to those at the table, if that'd be great.
The simian creature's tail just flicks directly towards you and snatches the coin out of your fingertips and says, "This is good. Grog, wine, something harder."
You know what? We're gonna go with wine. I haven't had a good wine in a while. We'll go with wine.
Yeah, nice glass of wine.
The bartender nods his head and says, "The maid will be around shortly with your drinks."
You. He just felt like he put down another silver. He's like, this is going to be for the next round. I'll pay in advance.
The coin is snatched up with just as much speed as the first.
So he's like, he goes, dude, you might get me fucked up tonight just so I can see that happen again and again.
The bartender kind of gives you a big grin and says, "Oh, I can get you fucked up."
He's just gonna kind of smile at him. Do you want help down, or are you gonna hop down?
That's me. I got it.
I like how I've gone from his cog on Wednesdays being like, hey, what's with all the short hate? And don't pick me up, to just willingly wanting to pick up a small creature.
Absolutely. You make your way over to the table. As you can see, the bartender behind is grabbing up a bottle of something from one of the back area, and it places a tray on one side of the bar, grabs some mugs, and begins filling it with wine. A few minutes later, you see a woman walk up to the bar, clearly the barmaid, grabs up the tray and another bottle of wine and makes her way over to your table. She places the bottle down in the center of the table, places a glass in front of each of you, and tells you, Curvaceous Red. Very good.
Thank you. What's your name?
My name is Elizabeth. And as you're kind of looking her up and down, she actually kind of looks human. This is the first really human-looking person that you've seen close up since making your way out into space. But
we lost Joe.
You've seen them. What's that?
We lost Joe.
You lost Joe? I can see Joe.
He's not in the audio.
He's not in the audio.
Oh,
He's not in the voice chat.
Huh. Okay.
That's like because he asked about her, so I just didn't want him to miss it.
Uh-oh. I will give Joe a second then.
Right, without problems.
Yeah. Oh, I see you back. Joe, can you hear me? Joseph.
I'm back. God damn it.
Yeah, you're just having issues today, aren't you, bud?
Yes, I do.
Anyway, what I was saying is this woman looks human. This is one of the first individuals you've seen that actually look completely human. There are humans in Jura, and not a lot, but there are some, and it's a very common species on Loroupa. So seeing one in person here on an asteroid in the middle of space is maybe a little surprising, maybe not. But she passes out each one, and she does tell you that her name is Elizabeth. And she says, if you need anything else, just holler. I'll be around all day.
Cute. He'd be like, my name is Zolos. Just introduce himself before she leaves. He's gonna be nice. He's cordial. He's good. He's the life of the party, all right?
Absolutely. Well, the barmaid does leave fairly quickly. She's called over to a table that, as you're kind of looking over, the table are occupied by individuals that kind of look like gigantic praying mantises wearing adventurers' clothing, of all things. They're dressed fairly common.
This one over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this table over here, but they all kind of look like praying mantises a little bit, except they're much shorter. They're about the same height as Lark is. But you all have some red wine in front of you. It smells fruity. It smells very, very sweet and pretty potent as well. And you
take a sip.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's very sweet. It's like super sweet. And definitely has it has a very alcoholic burn to it as well.
Washes away his fruit from earlier. So, he just said, he just tell you, all right, guys, it's like, have any of you ever been in a bar? Obviously, this one's interesting, but have you ever been in a bar before?
Technically, yes.
All right.
Times.
Well, it's just there to, steal some silverware.
Well, we're just gonna drink. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. Maybe on the second round, maybe a third round, we'll start asking around for the person we're looking for. We don't want to just go out doing it right away, because we already got eyes on us. Let's not bring undue attention.
Oh, how very blood from a stone of you.
I know. And I've only got 2 of those.
Quiet.
No, he's just saying. He goes, just chill out. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. We're not gonna make waves. We're not doing that right now. So, Hey, you guys, the last time we walked in a bar together, 2 of you made my life hell in this group. So let's just say that.
I did no such thing.
Pretty sure I came out to a full-on bar fight. So yes, you did.
Not of Eloise's doing. Eloise complimented the bartender, thank you very much, and you started freaking out.
No, I was downstairs. All right. Anyway, well, he sees the bug people, and I guess these are kind of like orcs in the corner, half orcs, or
glancing at, there is another table. There are 4 individuals sitting there. They're green-skinned. They have long, very, very long, pointed ears, black hair. Most of which, pretty much all of them, have like shoulder or back length, long black hair. Their skin is like greenish yellow in color. Their eyes are very, very large and yellow as well. And the armor that they're all wearing armor, like very bright, very shiny plate armor.
Are these Githyanki?
A version, I suppose you could call them that.
He's just gonna, while he's taking that drink, just make casual conversation and just kind of like peer around the room, not focus on anybody too much. He doesn't want to draw too much attention to himself, and just kind of enjoy sitting down with a drink with his friends for a minute.
Yeah.
And they brought a bottle, I guess, that second round, or is that what that was?
Yep, that bottle would be your second round. It has been opened already since you paid for it.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, he's just gonna enjoy his wine. And
how does the wine compare to like elven wine from home?
I would say that this wine is much heavier bodied than the elven wine at home. Elven wine tends to be very, very light, very, very fruit forward, but easy to drink and very, very mellow and, like I said, light. This is heavy. This is like, oh god, like try comparing a Sauvignon Blanc. Well, I was going to say a Sauvignon Blanc to a Lambrusco.
Those aren't real words.
Yes, they both are. Sauvignon Blanc is a very light, citrus-forward white wine. A Lambrusco is an Italian red that's very, very sweet and has a very light carbonation to it. So it's the difference in a lot of body, a lot of how thick it is, how sweet it is. It's like good.
Comparing like a stout to an ale, they're like
kind of yeah. Like imagine you've been drinking.
I was gonna say like a Pinot Noir to like a Malbec kind of thing. Like let's compare 2 red wines instead of 2 separate different things.
Well, that's the thing. It's that much of a difference of comparison.
Okay, gotcha.
That's why I compared a white to a red, because they're so drastically different.
Okay.
A elven wine to
this is space wine.
Yeah. Yeah, this is space wine.
Delicious space wine.
I
was thinking port personally.
I don't know these wine terms. I'm a beer guy.
Yeah, actually, port is a very good descriptive of this. It is kind of like port.
Okay.
It definitely has the higher alcohol content that makes a port very similar.
Okay.
So that would be a good, if you want to compare apples to apples, it would be like comparing a port to a Cabernet. They're just vastly different, and one's much sweeter and much more fruity and much heavier in alcohol content.
Okay. I think Lark is going to take a couple of sips of it and be like, this is nice. And then she's just going to push her cup towards Zolos.
So you could enjoy yourself.
Oh, I am. Once these sips hit, it's going to be a party.
Once these sips hit, he's just gonna take another gulp of his, just like taking their long drag. He's like,
This is just heavier than I'm used to. It's fine. It's really yummy.
you should drink some of the shit they have out on some of the guys in the ships have out on the water. I was like, this is high class compared to that.
It's good. It's a lot.
Yeah, you got a little frame too. Probably doesn't. A thimble's probably gonna put you down. So.
Not me! I could drink a barrel of this stuff!
We're gonna party, woo! Woo.
So he will just kind of keep surveying the room, see if any, like, when he's looking around, see if he can kind of, like, catch anybody looking at him as he's just taking his drink, and he'll pour a little bit more into his cup, and he's just looking out for now.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a moment when Skarn just takes a sort of very tentative sip and then gets this face, and then immediately it's back to stone face, and it's not saying anything, but it just slows way down.
Oh.
So it's like your batteries are running out, and you're just like, ooh.
I mean, this is unpleasant, but it's what we're doing, so I'm not gonna say anything.
But the doc is gonna quietly take the cup away. They can handle it. They're a medical doctor. It's fine. I'll drink it.
No, it's okay.
Well, that's
It's
2 for 2,
good.
Zolos.
I enjoy this.
You made a face. I'm concerned about the face.
I make faces all the time. It's okay.
Not a short-circuiting face, personally. I'm kind of here to make sure nobody perishes. That looked pretty close. I was very worried.
I can get you something else.
No, it's okay. You already got this. It's great.
I mean, sure they got like a whiskey or a bourbon up something. I mean, that's the equivalent of it up here. You want something like that, or?
I don't know what the difference would be.
That's a whole another conversation. I was just gonna say, it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna push you if you're uncomfortable. There's no need to push you into something you don't want to do. It's like Boomy and I will take care of your share.
If we're supposed to be
I'm here
pirates,
too.
should we be drinking rum?
Well,
Woo!
yeah, that's really
That's
kind
some
of
water.
yeah. As I say, that's really kind of a that's a character of the people of the sea. They don't always just drink rum. I mean, they'll drink whatever they have to. I mean, as long as it's got alcohol in it, they don't care. Rum's just cheap because there's some stuff they can make that's pretty rot gut. It's like that grog. Did you hear him mention grog? I'm sure that's probably the shit stuff they have here. But anyway, yeah, let's just enjoy ourselves. We're sitting down. We're chilling. You don't have to drink if you don't want to. Let's just, we got through space. We fought the squid ship thing. We survived. We're here. Let's all just relax. Let's all be a bunch of Apollians. Do you know what Apollian is? Apollian's cool, and that's what we're gonna be.
Right, raise a glass. Celebrate life.
You all spend some time drinking, chilling, watching. Every so often, that group in the corner that were giving you dark looks.
That one?
Yeah, kind of makes a big old laugh every now and again. The other tables seem more content to talk amongst themselves, though everybody glances your way every so often. But then again, they also glance at each other every so often in a very similar manner. You don't know if it's necessarily just the fact that you're new, because everybody seems to be kind of doing it to everybody at this point.
It's a dangerous place, according to the other bug we met, and they're just all keeping eyes on each other.
Exactly. How many of you drink more than a cup, just out of curiosity?
Don't shake. Is it really going to be me and Coins? All right,
The doctor and the doctor.
And the doctor.
Yeah, at least a couple
I got you.
glasses.
Okay.
Yeah.
The three of you at least continue on drinking for a little bit, sipping, probably not gulping. And after about 30 or so minutes, the barmaid does come back and kind of check the bottle that you have there, just to see how full it is. And she does say, "Is there anything else I can get you?"
Our friends here aren't much for drinkers. Do you have a nice tea or something back there?
She kind of gets a weird look on her face, kind of what's the best way to describe it? Restrained
Condemnation?
condemnation, yeah, or condescension was the word I was kind of thinking of. Barely restrained condescension, as she says, "Well, I'm sure we could get some water or something like that if..."
You know what? Maybe just a couple of cups of water for them, just because I don't want to put them out. And then another one of these for the rest of us. He's going to kind of look and give her kind of a wink. Yeah, she's like, and then he'll give her, I guess it was a silver piece. I mean, he'll give her two, give her a tip, and be like, "Hey, if you could bring us another bottle back and some water for them."
Those coins disappear down the bodice of her dress very quickly. She kind of smiles and says, "I can absolutely help you out with that." And she makes her way back up to the bar to get exactly what you asked for.
So you said before that fruit you got was gross. And this stuff is fine, it's good, everyone enjoys it. So maybe all space food is fine, just a theory.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that stuff was very nutritious. And to some species, it's probably fantastic. It's he won't point at him. He's like, the kind of little bug guys over there in the corner. Sure, they would love it. It just wasn't for... Well, definitely myself. I mean, Boomy, he said it wasn't the worst he'd ever eaten, but it probably wasn't even close to the
Worst,
best.
but not the best, yeah.
I don't know what's, someone like yourself. I mean, I've always wondered, exactly, do you need to eat?
Yeah, no, I definitely do.
Okay, I didn't know if it was, because I'm still, I don't want to be rude, but I'm still not quite sure. I mean, you're the first of your kind I've seen in Jura.
Yeah, same. I've never seen another one of me. That's a lot of what my experiments were back at the fort. Were just trying to figure out basic stuff about me.
Maybe.
So I went a week without eating once, and then I passed out during KT drills.
Maybe you're kinder from somewhere out here. Maybe we'll find
I was kind of thinking that, but Colonel Nigel said that he hadn't seen anything like me before.
Well,
so
are we really gonna worry about what Captain Fancy Pants? He doesn't know everything. It's like, we're gonna find out some more info for you, I promise.
That would be nice. And speaking of more info, it's like I have so many questions about everyone here in this bar, but I don't know how to... I mean, it's probably pretty rude to walk up to someone and start asking about their species, right? I don't know how to handle this.
I would say let's not do that here. Maybe somewhere else in a nicer setting. Not here. Just looking around, everybody's eyeballing them. He's like, yeah, they'd probably get really upset at us.
It doesn't take long before the barmaid returns, carrying another bottle and 3 glasses. Mugs, I should say. The mugs do have water in them, and they're placed down on the table next to the bottle.
He kind of he'd wave her over to have her kind of coming close to him.
Mm-hmm.
I need to ask. What was the guy's name again? I meant to write it down, and then my
That's Crowsburn.
Crowspurn.
Crowborn.
Crowborn? Yeah, Crowborn, sorry.
He's like, hey, we are new in town. I'm sure you've picked up on that.
Mm-hmm. That's fairly obvious.
We're looking for somebody, and I'm hoping you can help me out. Somebody named Crowburn. We have something for them.
You say the name Crowburn, and the reaction you get is one of her eyes narrowing, and then she looks at each one of you, kind of suspiciously.
It's like we were given something by, and I mean, I don't know what to do. A big hippo gave us something to give to them.
Make a persuasion check.
Meanwhile, in the background, I'm trying to teach Skarn how to play matchsticks.
What am I looking for here?
You're looking for a 4.
Alright. He's got that confidence with that liquor in him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with that nat 1, she says, you have a shipment for Mr. Crowborn. Interesting. Very well. You may wait here. I will inform him of your arrival.
Thank you. He'll give her another one of the, I guess, the silver. Mm-hmm. It's only silver pieces, guys. Don't worry. He's gonna give her another one as a thank you.
Mm-hmm. She takes this as well, and you watch as she walks over to the bar. She motions for the bartender to come over, and he does, leaning against his side of the bar. She leans over towards him and whispers something into that very large ear the simian-looking creature has. They nod to each other, and then you watch as the woman walks over to a door towards the back near the bar, which she opens. You can see as she passes through it that it appears to be in the kitchen that she's heading towards. You can see like a table and a few individuals kind of working around it, and there's like a stove and stuff before the door closes once again. Now,
that seemed easier than I was expecting, guys. Let's hope I didn't just kill us all.
As you're saying that, Skarn, you would notice that one of the individuals at that table that had been mean-mugging you all when you first came in, one of the individuals sitting there, one of the big, burly-looking humanoid dudes, stands up and starts drunkenly swaying, lumbering towards your table. He comes closer to you all, and as he gets closer, you kind of look him up and down, and you realize that this individual definitely is humanoid. Kind of has a bit of a reminiscent of orcish stock to them as well. Big wide jaw, large nose, smaller eyes. Their skin is kind of dusky and a little mix between green and brown. They're dressed in clothes that makes him look like a deckhand, as I've described before. But as he comes up towards you, he walks directly up to the table. He looks around, and as you're looking up at him, you can see that those pig-like eyes of his are so bloodshot that they resemble red veined marble. He seems to regard you all unsteadily as he sways there for a moment, but then eventually he says, "Well, I guess your mother's let you stay out late tonight, huh?" And as he laughs, you can smell the alcohol on his breath. It's heavy. Whatever he's been drinking, it's a lot stronger than the wine you've been drinking.
Well, honestly, I don't know who my mother is, so she might have let me do that. I don't know. I never met her.
Yeah, you look like someone who just would be off their mother's apron strings if you had one. And as he says this, he just leans forward and grabs the neck of the bottle that the barmaid had just placed down at the table.
Yeah, Zolos is he's gonna put his hand inside. He's like, "I'm willing to share a drink with you, friend, but the bottle's gonna stay."
You like place your hand on top of the bottle?
Yeah, he's not gonna let him take it.
Okay. He kind of looks at you and he says, "I wasn't asking ya, milksop." And he yanks at the bottle. Yanking it directly out from underneath you, but also spilling quite a bit of it onto the table. He just begins pouring it into the mug that he's carrying.
As he turns it upside down, can I use control water to just freeze it inside the bottle so he can't pour it out?
I like it. Yeah, absolutely. You use your magic and kind of focus a little bit. This is I feel like this needs to be a kind of a control check because it's in a bottle. If you freeze it too much, it'll explode or it'll just shoot out. If you freeze it not enough, it's still going to pour out, but be kind of icy and chunky. So make for me a control check with magic. If you have anything that allows you to lower a dice, you can. Otherwise, it's a 10. And I think you're aiming for a 5.
Yes. So whenever I make a check with powers, I use a D8. So that's where I'm gonna go on this one.
Yep, go for it.
And just gonna say for the record, you did say he poured out a bunch of it, so I don't know if there's enough left to make the bottle explode.
Okay, that's true. He had started. I thought you were trying to do it as he was pouring. If he's been able to pour a little bit.
Well, you said he sloshed it all over the place when he grabbed it. So.
That's true. That's true.
Nope, guess not.
Well, he's pouring it. You do freeze. You're still doing it. It basically, like, as it's pouring, you use your magic. It turns into an icicle mid-pour. And the bottle itself, like, starts to ice over as well. He cries out in surprise as, like, the frost begins to coat the glass, dropping the frozen bottle down onto the table with a very loud thud. Boom! He just kind of looks at the mug in his hand, has a bit of an icicle sticking out of that side as well. He kind of drunkenly tries to do one of these. It's completely frozen. And then he throws it at your head, Skarn. And that's where we're going to pause on break. Seeing whether or not he hits you. So, we will be back in about 10 minutes, folks. And when we return, it seems like our heroes are getting into another bar brawl. Stay tuned. Howdy, y'all. We are back. And when we last left off, a dude who looks like some type of seafarer just came up to our heroes table, started talking some smack, tried to steal their wine, which was frozen solid by Skarn. And so in retaliation, this dude has just thrown the frozen mug of wine that he was trying to steal at your head, Skarn. So I'm going to need you to roll to react first, before anything else.
Okay. All right.
Your if you have anything that allow you to help dodge that sort of thing, anything that works with rolling to react, you can use smaller dice. If not, you're using a D10. The number you're trying to hit is, I will tell you as soon as this opens up. There it is. You are trying to hit a 6.
Okay. All right. I have something to pitch to you. I don't know if you're gonna let this fly. So, control water lets me move water or ice as I choose. Can I just sort of put this thing over on the table instead of dodging it?
Just like Jedi mind trick that shit over.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me take a look here real quick. You can cause the amount up to your size of water to move as you will. This water can action. So you kind of could, I'm gonna say, actually use
Alright.
well, you can use your magical power to control. You're still going to be making a roll to react, but because of this, you can use your magic die instead of your react die.
Much appreciated.
So what's your react die? Or your magic die, I believe, is a D8 right now.
It sure is.
Okay, so you're going to be rolling that D8, and like I said, you are aiming for a 6.
All right. On the dot.
On the
Woo!
dot. So this frozen mug comes hurtling at your head, but you're already focusing on your magic. And as you see that, you're able to react very quickly. The liquid in there that was once solid, frozen, suddenly melts once again, moving down to the table, grabbing up the mug, flipping it around, sitting it back on the table before the liquid moves back up into it. And it just kind of...
Oh, thank you for giving that back.
The man looks very confused at this, but that's not enough to dissuade him from what he did, what he's trying to do, because since it hits the table and kind of wobbles there, he just looks at it, looks back at you, looks at it, looks back at you, and tries to reach out and grab you. However, everybody or anybody can go ahead and roll some initiative.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Yep.
Oof.
Okay, Zolos, what did you get?
That's a 9.
Ouch. Skarn, what did you get?
Oh shit.
That's a 10.
Whoa.
Ouch. Lark,
5.
5. Dr. Bloom,
6.
6. Boomy,
7.
7. Whew, okay. Okay. Lark, you actually would be the first one to react. You saw that the mug landed on the table. The big burly dude just roared and lunged towards Skarn, getting ready to grab them. So you're reacting first. What are you doing?
So the thing that's on the table, is it the bottle, mug, whatever it is?
There are like 5 mugs on the table currently. There's 2 bottles and 3 mugs of water.
Okay, one of the frozen ones.
It's not frozen anymore.
No. I'm just gonna take my mug of water and throw it in his face. Like, just splash it in his face. I'm holding on to the mug. The mug is staying with me. I'm just splashing the water to try and, like, get him out of his greeness.
Okay. You're just throwing the water at him. You're literally right next to him. I don't think this is going to be difficult. This is going to be a ranged attack, technically.
Great.
So you're going to be rolling a d10 unless you have something that helps you with improvised weapons.
And how come we don't have a monk in our party this time?
You're aiming for a 6. Actually, since you're right next to him, I'm going to say you're aiming for a 7.
Okay. If I choose. Oh, good. Thank God. Okay. We're good. Okay, so a D10, and I'm trying to aim for 7.
Yes. Five. Very nice. Without issue, you throw the water directly towards him. It splashes, hitting him right in his face as he's lunging towards Skarn. The shock of the water makes him jerk his head and focus towards you as well.
Please stop! I don't think they want us to fight in here.
That was your action. I assume you don't want to move.
Holding my mug.
Next up, it's a tie between Dr. Bloom and the enemy. For this instance, I feel like let's just have a roll-off here. I'd like you to roll a d10 for me. If you roll a 5 or higher, you go first.
I don't know how to type it out. Oh, interesting.
Good.
Nico, if you go on the side, the little dice icon at the bottom of the little
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
No problem.
Boop. That's a 10.
Oh,
That's unfortunate.
Brood.
I mean, it tracks. You have the hesitant trait, right?
I mean, the hesitant trait was for initiative.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I know. I'm just saying that, like, the dice are telling the story.
Oh yeah, for sure. They absolutely are.
Yeah.
It's the big dude who's going next. This guy is very large. Like he's about the same size as the bouncer who stopped you all as you came in, or maybe Skarn. Skarn was the intended target. However, now Lark, you are the one that drew his attention. He's looking at you drunkenly and says, "You little bitch!" And he's going to swing towards you and try to punch you in the face. You're going to need to roll to react for this. You are aiming for a 5. Because he is kind of drunk.
My fast reflexes are only for non-combat checks.
Darn.
Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to dodge.
Trying to dodge.
Okay. So it's gonna be a D10 again, and difficulty
Is 5.
5. Oh!
Oof. He clobbers you full on. Closed fist to side of the jaw. You are going to take 1 point of damage. And for narrative purposes, I'm going to say that he cocked you so hard, you go tumbling off of your chair.
Oh yeah, 100%.
After that, he looks pretty aggro here. He's gonna stay right where he is. Dr. Bloom, you're up next.
So I kind of want to pick him up from the scruff with my talons and just lift him off the ground and away from people. If I wanted to fly him up.
I'm going to remind you that the ceiling above you is not very high. At most,
right.
it's about 10 feet tall. So, like, you, Skarn could literally reach up and touch it.
Right. That was one course of action.
What's that?
That was one course of action. I had a couple options. Because I really wanted to just take him by the scruff like
Oh,
a...
yeah. No, I dig it. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, it's not that high. You could like try to pick him up and by the scruff of his neck if you wanted to, but
Even just to pull him away from the table, I think it's worth a shot.
okay. So that you would have to use your movement to get around to them, and then this would be a grapple check.
Okay.
So if you're making a grapple check, if you have any abilities that allow you to help you with grapple, you can roll a smaller dice. If not, you're using a D10. He is, like I mentioned, a big dude. He is tall, he is thick, he is muscular. You're also a bird, which means you have hollow bones. So I'm going to rate this as a 4.
Fair.
Can I use my effort to help on this roll by standing up on the chair, and Dreezy's gonna pull his pants down and moon this guy, show him his bum.
I like it. I like it. So, Dr. Bloom, you would be able to roll 2 dice instead of 1. This is going to cost you 2 effort, Boomy. But you can absolutely jump up on your chair, turn around, and moon him as Dr. Bloom moves around to the other side and grabs him up.
Amazing. Thank you. Oh, it's a 2.
Nice.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Like it's a bit of an effort to lift this guy up, but he is distracted by the sight of a bare green ass, and that's enough for you to swoop around him, grab him basically by the scruff of his shirt, and haul him up.
Nice. Combo move.
Yep. Okay, he's like, what the? Get off me! That's your turn, Dr. Bloom. Boomy, you are up next.
All right, now that I see that Dr. Bloom was successful, he'll pull his pants up and run across the table and jump onto his face.
Oh my god. Dude, why shouldn't have pulled your pants up? Should have just...
Are you just basically trying to jump on his face and hold on to him, or are you like trying to hit him?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to hit him.
Okay, then
But
yeah.
I want to be like attached to his body, like further restraining him.
Okay, so make for me a grapple check first.
Okay.
Yeah, because remember, we only have one action in this. But I'm still gonna allow it. So make me a grapple check.
Yeah, I mean
first.
it's like
yeah, you're grabbing on and trying to punch at the same time here. So it's gonna be a D10, I assume, unless you have something to assist you with grappling. You're aiming for a 5.
a 3.
Yeah, you immediately latch on. Go ahead and roll
It was
to
just
attack.
I'm sorry, what's that roll?
You're going to be rolling to make your attack. His defense is a 6.
Ooh, 7. Oh, so
7.
close.
Yeah, and you're able to latch onto him and hold onto his head, but you're trying to punch at him as he's wiggling about and flailing about. You manage to grab his head and hold on, but you were not able to make contact.
Okay.
That's going to be your
I'll
turn.
just stay right there.
Okay.
Just
Zolos, you're up next.
Alright, so the doc is holding him in the air still.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dreezy's on his face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is he holding anything? Obviously, besides Dreezy.
Right now, he's not, no.
What are his friends doing? Are they just watching this?
You glance over at them, and yeah, right now, the 4 of them are watching. The guy in the middle, the one in all black leather, is stroking his chin a little bit, watching this sort of thing. As you glance about the rest of the bar, everybody seems to be watching this interaction, and you actually see a few of them like passing coins back and forth, almost as if they're making bets.
So they're
I knew it.
they're testing us out here. I think this is like an initiation or something like that. I mean, yeah, he'll, I guess, kind of come over. I mean, it's kind of an unfair fight at this point. I mean, if he was holding something, I was going to do something else. But Doc's got him up in the air. Dreezy's on his face. So, yeah, Zolos is just going to kind of do like a... He's got the wrestling feet, so he is just going to kind of grapple the guy's arms and just kind of like hold him fast and just kind of like just start telling him, he's like, just chill the fuck out. This doesn't have to keep going this way. It's, yeah, he's just going to kind of go to hold him in place.
Okay,
Grab his arm so he can't do anything with him.
Make me that grapple check. Since you have your feet, that should be able to give you a D8, I think.
I think right now it's just
Yeah.
a 10 since I've only got
it's just
1
a
in
10?
it.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's only rank 1. But yeah, he'll just kind of grip onto what's since he's in the air and he's got a goblin on his face.
Mm-hmm.
What's my DC on
Well,
this one?
your DC is going to
pile
be
driver.
a 7, considering the circumstances.
It is 2.
That is a 2. As you're able, you grab onto one arm, wrench it back behind his back. He's flailing about. You grab that other, pin those back behind him as well. And he's just kind of howling and yelling with rage, struggling back and forth as this happens.
Just kind of lean in, whisper into his ear. He's like, "This doesn't have to go this way." And he's just going to give him a little peck on the ear just to fuck with his head. Make him think what's about to happen.
Skarn, you're up next, technically. So, what's up?
Yeah, so I don't think I can actually enter that square without putting it over capacity.
You would not.
So I'm actually just going to come down here, like, zooming around the table. And I will spend 2 efforts to heal Lark, and Skarn is just going the whole time. Thank you, I'm sorry, I appreciate you getting hit, but I'm sorry you got hit. As this sort of gentle cloud of golden motes of light settle down over you to heal your wound.
There you go. You are healed 1 point, Lark.
Yay. I went from half health to full health. Woo!
Woo! And speaking of which, at the top of the turn order, it is your turn, Lark.
I'm just gonna sit up. Okay. Can I do a roll just to see if my meekness will allow me to attack this guy for whacking me?
I don't think you need that to do
No?
that.
Okay.
No, unless you want to. If you want the dice to tell the story, I am perfectly content with
Well, I'm just... Can I do it without it taking my action is what I'm trying to ask, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is... At the same time, he's not technically an authority figure in this bar.
He isn't.
No.
The person in the bar, the waitress...
Which is why I kind of
okay.
left it up to you.
Yeah. Okay, so she's just gonna sit up
Mm-hmm.
and oh gosh, which one do I want to use? What do I want to do? I'm sorry. I'm trying to decide of which flavor I wanna do for this. Okay. Do we? What are we feeling? Do we want to spook them, or do we want to hurt them? Fear or pain? Fear or pain? What are we feeling?
He hits you. I'd say he's probably starting to feel maybe a little bit of fear already. So I'd go for the pain. You got little fists, and you're at the perfect height to just, hit him on the old 1-2 on the old beanbag there. So I'd say just punch him right in the junk.
Okay, so I think if that's the case, then as Lark just sits bolt up, when she opens her eyes, it's just like pure, almost bluish light.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just gonna turn towards him and say, and it's like this weird, her voice oddly echoes, and she says, "You fucked with the wrong runt." And then she's gonna wind up like she's throwing a baseball or something of that sort, and this ball of energy is just going to form in her hand, and she throws it straight at his junk, Yeah.
And what's this power that you're using?
My energized projectile.
Hell yeah.
I like it. Roll a magical attack. You're aiming for a 6.
Giving him a whole Hadouken right to the
balls.
right in the breadbasket there.
Mm-hmm.
Am I
You're probably rolling a d10 unless you have an ability that gives you something better.
I don't think so. Okay. D10, and I'm aiming for a 6, you said?
Mm-hmm.
5, 6, 6.
6.
Okay. Dang it! 8.
You're aiming, but your aim kind of low. It goes right between his legs as they're flailing about, hits the ground right in front of Dr. Bloom, who's holding the dude up.
Okay. The ground's gonna, like, sizzle, and there's gonna be, like, this little melted crater
Mm-hmm.
where it hit.
Absolutely. Next is the guy's turn. Excuse me. Boomy, Zolos, Dr. Bloom, I need all 3 of you to roll strength checks. This dude is trying to, like, wiggle about and fling the 3 of you off of him. So you're holding on to try to maintain that grip. All of you are rolling d10s, but Zolos, I think your grappler ability is going to help you out with this one. You're aiming for a 4.
So will I roll twice? I guess 2 then, since I've got him gripped up. Or
wait a minute,
will I? Because I mean, with my wrestler, it's a D10 if I want to do damage while I'm holding someone. So I guess it depends on you for you if you wanted me to do like a D8 just to grapple.
Yeah, I think
since I have the wrestler.
Since you're already grappling and you're already holding him, I'm going to allow you to roll a D8 for this.
Okay.
Can we help each other?
Not.
But.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
It's each of you trying to maintain your grip.
Okay.
That's 3.
Nice.
Okay. Comes to 4. It's an 8.
That is an 8. Okay. He's shaking and wiggling about. Dr. Bloom, you lose your grip on him and drop him, kind of stumbling back as he's flailing about. Boomy, you are knocked off his face completely. You land on the table with a bit of a thud, but Zolos, you managed to maintain your hold on his arms. You kind of have to spin him a little bit to maintain this. So it's kind of spins him a little bit away from Dr. Bloom and Boomy on the table, but you maintain that hold. And he kind of just yells out a loud roar as you're spinning him. As this happens, you hear a chink. You look down, and his boots that he's wearing, blades have protruded out from them. Like hidden blades.
All right.
Now, when this happens, he's still trying to spin and like he's attempting to kick out at you. But a voice shoots through the room. Loud, piercing. Like the crack of a whip. A single word is yelled. Gort! The black-clad man at that table has stood up. He's on his feet. And his flinty eyes are hard and cold. He yells out once again, Gort! Enough! The big man looks towards the table, and his head kind of goes down. And as that happened, you also notice that the gigantic ogre from the door is starting to make his way over as well. He's moving one up towards you guys. He moves second. He's right there. It clearly looks like he's coming up to break up this fight. Dr. Bloom, it is your turn at that point. Do you do anything?
No, I think Dr. Bloom's just watching. Yeah.
Dreezy. It's your turn.
At this point, Dreezy's gonna pick himself up and just jump back up onto the table and just stare this guy down. Kind of wait to see what happens.
Okay. Zolos, you are still holding the guy's arms behind his back. What are you doing?
Well, I saw the blades come out of his shoes. And, I heard that person scream at him to stop. I'm sure I can hear. I guess, am I looking at the big-ass guy coming over? Or do I just hear him?
You just heard him. I think you were more focused on the guy, but you did hear the voice.
Well, then, what he's going to end up doing, because he goes, your boy's calling you. And in kind of one fluid motion, he's going to kind of just, because he's got his arms wrapped up, he's going to kind of like hip toss the guy under the ground, and then using his disarm feat, he's going to pull his shoes off of him. Because with disarm, it says like, while wielding a medium weapon I guess you'll have to determine with this thing if it's a medium weapon or not, I guess, but I can knock something out of somebody's hands or appendages. So would you consider his feet appendages? And in this thing, could I take his shoes off him while I'm putting him onto the ground?
I'm going to say that in this instance, that's a little much. You can certainly attempt to like knock him down if you want to, but given the fact that they are boots that are laced on his feet and on and you don't actually have a weapon on you right now, I feel like you would not be able to do that.
Yeah, then I think he would just say, he goes, hey, your boy's calling you. And he's just going to kind of take him and just shove him in the direction towards their table, just like throwing him to the ground.
Okay.
Because the guy's drunk, Zolos has got a grip on him. He's going to act like a bouncer and just throw the guy over there.
Yeah, I dig it. You're going to make me basically a hip throw check. This is going to be a D10. The DC for this is only going to be a 7. Because you do have an advantage on him the way you're holding him.
Oh God, I even spelled that wrong. It's meant to be ground. But it's still it's a 3. It's still a fact. He just takes him and he's just throwing him, knocking him off balance, putting him onto the ground, back towards his own table.
Yeah, absolutely. You fling him in that direction. He goes tumbling forward, skidding on the ground and in the sawdust as towards the group as they're standing up.
And he's just gonna look at him. He's like, he started this. I don't want to finish it. Take your boy.
Skarn, it is your turn.
He'll kind of move back to the table after he does that.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of this has it's basically already been resolved, and if we do anything, then we're going to be in trouble. So I think Skarn is just going to busy itself with, like, a bunch of stuff got knocked over, and mugs and glasses, and I think it's just going to be, like, trying to control up that water so the tables and the seats aren't drenched anymore.
Yeah, Dreezy running across the table, then being thrown back on the table has definitely knocked things over and that sort of thing. So you can
maybe
use your
even
magic
dry off
to...
Dreezy if he needs it.
yeah, you can absolutely do that with your action this turn. Lark, are you going to try to do anything on your turn?
I think I'm just gonna try to get up and like brush dust off.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah, I think the initial big mad about almost getting the lights knocked out of me has passed. The adrenaline is starting to like even out. So I think yeah, she's her chutzpah has gotten up and left.
Okay. Well, in that case, as the turn comes around to the big man who attempted to attack you, he is standing up, pushing himself up because he kind of tumbled forward on the ground. He's pushing himself up once again. About the same time, his four companions walk over towards them. The man in black walks directly up to him. The man's just kind of pushing himself up and coming up to his feet as the dark man in black approaches. But you just all kind of watch as the hooded man just slaps the drunkard across his face as hard as he can. The sound of the slap echoes throughout the bar. You all kind of wince a little bit at the sound. The man in black simply sneers and says, "Weakling. I think we know who's going to be dealing with the binge on the next run." He turns and looks at each one of you, gives you a small smirk, snaps his fingers, and when he does, two of the other big sailors that are next to him walk over to the kneeling man who is now like clutching his cheek and kind of wincing. Each one of them grab him by the arm. About the same time, the bouncer makes his way around to them. He levels a finger at them and says, "No weapons! Out!"
Uh-oh.
Everyone is watching. But the man in black simply shrugs a little bit, pulls a coin from his from his pouch on his belt, flips it over to the bartender, snaps his fingers again, and kind of motions with his fingers. The two grabbing the big man, begin to drag him towards the door, followed by the other two. As the group make their way towards the door, and being escorted by the ogre bouncer, I should say, the ogre bouncer, the man in black turns once more, looks at each of you significantly, and without another word, exits the bar as well.
Who was that guy?
Pretty sure we're going to see him again.
He seemed super unfriendly.
Yeah, that look kind of just put us on notice, people. So watch your back when we're here. anywhere on Vral.
I really hope that wasn't the guy we're supposed to meet.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, you're right, because he owns the place, so he wouldn't get kicked out of his own place, probably. Okay.
As you're saying that, you all hear a new voice speaking from behind you. The voice is a little bit raspy, but the voice says, "Animals." You all turn to see a new pair approaching you. These two are dressed quite differently from, well, really anybody else in the bar. They're wearing very simple garments, robes, made of possibly wool or something similar, but worn. They're very simple. There's no decoration, there's no frills, nothing. Just simple brown sackcloth robes, cinched around their waist with rope or twine. They both look vaguely humanoid. One of them has a bald head, a very, very white beard. His skin is pale. He has a very large bulbous nose and eyes that are completely and totally blue. There's no iris, there's no pupil. It's just a blue orb in the sockets. The other man, standing slightly behind and to the left of the older, has very, very dark skin. His eyes are blue as well, pupilless as well. But his features are much more youthful. He does not have a beard whatsoever, nor does he have eyebrows, now that you're focusing on him. He's dressed the same as the elder, and it is the elder who spoke. You realize this because he continues to speak as he approaches. He says, "Do you know who they are? Who he is?" Before any of you can answer, the younger man speaks up. "Cain." And then he spits on the already much spit upon floor. "Pirate. Captain of the Barracuda." Both men face you, and as they're saying that, the older man points to an open chair next to you and says, "May I?" As he's already slipping into the seat.
To be clear, was that you calling us animals a moment ago? Because if so, I don't know if we want to sit with you.
Pretty sure he's talking about them. It's gone.
I mean, I would assume so, but you gotta check for context in situations like this.
Oh, I was definitely speaking of them.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Thank you.
Though I would call animals any who practice the trade of piracy. However, after the show you all just put on, I get the sense that you have a different sort of persuasion. I have a proposition that beings of your ilk may find interesting. A proposition that I am hoping some might have the courage to take up. I'm hoping, based on the display of courage I just saw, that I have found some of exactly what I seek.
Skarn just looks around the table. Was that courage? I think we were just keeping him from
Yeah.
being a pain, right?
I mean, we stood our ground.
What
I
did you
think
mean
that's-
by our ilk? What's our ilk?
Ilk.
Yeah.
Ilk.
Yeah, I'm not a mammal, so I don't.
I know, but you just said you'd call anybody who does
We're not-
piracy animals, but then you say our ilk. What? So, what do you think we are?
We don't look like pirates, little one.
No, you certainly don't.
That's why I'm confused. So what? What?
Well, you look like... Well, you look like the type who can handle your own. You look like the type who's not afraid to stand up to those type. And he gestures towards the table where the dark-clad man and his party were sitting a moment ago. You are all the ones who arrived on the new ship that just docked. Am I mistaken?
See, word travels fast.
Yeah, that's us.
Word travels very fast around the rock. And we are the type that keep our ears to the ground. The younger man says, "We are the pragmatic order of thought." I'm sure you've heard of us.
Ooh, fancy. No, doesn't ring a bell.
I mean, when we obviously just arrived, we are very just arriving. We aren't around here. So I apologize, but no, we have not heard of you.
The younger and the older man both look at each other very surprised, like, acting as though this should be common knowledge to anybody. The older man says, "Well, I suppose I should explain then. My name is Jason, and this is my protege, Wallace. The Pragmatic Order of Thought are a group of individuals dedicated to the safe and fair trade throughout the known cosmos. One of our central precepts is that trade and travel should be completely unrestricted. Only through this freedom will we see the universe develop into the unfettered, unbound utopia we believe it should be. Unfortunately, this freedom is being infringed upon. A freedom so essential that everyone must benefit from it. We've heard that you are privateers, traders, who have brought cargo to the rock. Cargo that, has been difficult to come by of late. The younger man says, most supplies are hard to come by nowadays. The older one says, piracy hinders everything that we stand for. pirates hunt the pathways in and out of wild space. They are the greatest single obstacle to free and efficient trade between the spheres. Our order believe it is our responsibility and privilege to do our small part to solve this problem. When we saw you standing up to a group of well-known pirates, we knew we had to speak to you.
Okay, so this probably isn't immediately the most pressing matter, but I mean, you said you're the order of pragmatic thought, right? But all that free and open stuff, that sounds a lot more idealistic than pragmatic to me. What's up with that?
The older man kind of chuckles at that and says, "Oh no. These things are, well, they're ideals that are good for the good of all common people. What's more pragmatic than that?"
I mean, generally having a direct plan and dealing with the stuff that's on the table in front of you right away. It's kind of the definition of the word.
The older monk kind of smiles at that, and while the younger says, "Well, of course we're dealing with what's in front of us. That's why we approached you." The older man kind of waves his hand back, trying to calm his younger associate, and says, "You all seem like the types we could use. We seek out those brave enough to stand up against piracy. We look to hire them. Our order has many such individuals, but not many here on the rock. Not any other than us. And a few others of our own. When we saw you in your display and heard that you and your group are all privateers who are at least unloading and possibly reloading before heading out into the ether current, which means that if you are, you will inevitably run across these pirates as well. So, we were hoping you help us, and we help you. You are going to have to deal with them eventually, no matter what, if you plan on leaving the rock. And we have methods that can ensure your success out there in the space lanes. But, of course, if you prefer to go on your own, we won't push. We would never press. So I suppose that is the question. Are you the types who are brave enough to stand against the menace? Or will you be like so many others, lost in the void?
Well, I don't know about them. It's like, I'm intrigued. We need some friends out here.
does it pay?
Those willing to stand against this villainy, well, we pay very well. Our order pays for each successful bounty, and we will, in addition, armor and equip those who aid us. Furthermore, our order is led by a divinator so powerful that they can read the ether currents and predict where pirate attacks will occur. Master Aron has the power to see all of the hidden currents and eddies within the Aetherscape. They can see paths hidden by most. They can find that which is hidden. They only need a strong individual or individuals to help.
Is there a... I mean, I know there's not exactly skills in this system, but is there a roll I can make to see if this dude is on the level?
Yeah, you can
Because
make
honestly, this feels super sketchy to me.
Yeah, you can absolutely make an insight check. You're going to be rolling a d10, and I think, honestly, you really only need to roll a 7.
His name was what? Jason or
Jason.
Jasson.
Jasson. And his assistant
Wallace.
is
Wallace.
Wallace. Wallis.
Alrighty, that's a 6 on the die.
You've been kind of listening to this guy talking, and he seems completely serious about what he's saying, almost passionately so. He legitimately seems to believe that he's looking for people who want to hunt pirates, and he absolutely believes that this leader of his can find them and can find hidden pathways in throughout the space. Which, now that I mention it, should probably pique some of y'all's interest.
What's the name of their order again? The pragmatic what?
Yeah, the Pragmatic Order of Thought.
Order.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Group huddle! What do y'all think?
Is he sitting at the table?
Yeah,
It's like, is he in the huddle too?
I mean, he's literally sitting at the table with y'all, but...
He's like, I'll tell you guys now, I'm at least willing to have a further conversation.
I can agree to that.
Yeah, I think we just really need to... Because it kind of sounds like what he's looking for is something pretty long-term, and I don't know if we want to do that. I thought we were going to go home.
I think it's going to be a while before we get home.
But at the same time, he said it's like they pay for bounties, so maybe we can just be like, a case-by-case kind of thing. We don't have to sign up for anything past what we want to do,
I think we're going to need
Yeah,
funds
I'm
to
definitely
get
not
home.
signing any papers.
We're going to need funds to get home, supplies. We also have to understand we may never get home. Look, we don't even know where we are. I'm willing to have a conversation.
At the mention of the fact that you're trying to find your way home, The younger of the two monks speaks up and says, "You say you're looking to find your way home again. Well, if that's the case, then the Master can absolutely help you. Master Aron can see all that is hidden within the multiverse. If you're seeking a path to return to your sphere, the Master would be the one to assist you in that."
Okay, but this isn't gonna be some spiritual, like, your home has been with us the whole time thing, is it?
He kind of chuckles at that and says, "We are not charlatans or peddlers of supernatural chicanery. We are true believers, true to our word."
What about uncharted space?
The younger man says, "Master Aron can see all, even that which is hidden in wild space." He says it pretty passionately, too, like with that kind of religious fervor. As they're saying that, you do hear a door open and close. You all glance back towards the door to the kitchen, and you do see the barmaid stepping through it and beginning to walk towards the table.
She's like, "Do you have a card or somewhere we can meet you later on to have a conversation?"
The man says to you, "Yes, of course. We have a headquarters here on the Rock." He gives you a series of directions on how to get there and tells you that their order is located in one particular building towards the center of town. After rattling off these directions, you all kind of look at them blankly, and the man pulls out a piece of paper from somewhere within his robes and a quill and begins drawing on a map for you all. As he's doing this, the barmaid walks over to the table and she looks at the two men and she says, "Now, I thought I told you not to be coming in here. You get out of here right now. Quit bothering these people." The man finishes drawing his map and passes it over to you all before standing up and says, Not to worry. We are leaving. We hope to see you all very soon." The two kind of give this weird religious symbol of hand waving before bowing to the two of you and start heading towards the door. As they do, the woman, the barmaid, kind of shakes her head and says, "I need to go and tell him not to let them in."
They seem kind of culty. Are they a cult?
She kind of shrugs her shoulders and says, "I don't know. Probably they've tried to come in here a few times and bother individuals who come down on ships."
Is it normal for this town for people to just sort of walk up to you in a bar and say, "Hey, we'd like you to kill somebody for money"?
They asked you to kill someone for money?
More or less.
Exactly. No.
Kinda.
I mean, explicitly, they did ask us to destroy a scourge, which was a group of people, so...
I think what they actually asked was, hey, there are a lot of pirates. Are you willing to help us get goods through to get past those pirates?
That's not a word we like to throw around in this place. She kind of says, I don't know what sort of business or arrangements you all are
We
about
haven't made
here,
any.
But she kind of just shakes her head and says,
I don't know, that's just the word they use. That's why I asked about cult, because they seem kind of... And
oh, there's plenty of odd people on this rock.
so weirdos are everywhere.
I'll be telling Grinder not to let them in. They're talking about killing pirates. Well, they're gonna end up getting themselves killed here. Wouldn't be surprised to find them with their throats slit down some back alleyway. Anyway, yeah?
Maybe they didn't tell us to do that. I don't know. I thought that was maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. They're probably fine. Don't worry about it.
She definitely has, like, a look on her face. But
Very smooth.
she eventually, yeah. She does kind of look at you all once more and then says finally, Mr. Crowborn is ready to see you. I might need to see him after that. Anyway, follow me, please. We're going to be going towards the back. She leads you into the kitchen, where you can see several individuals all working on various pots and different foods. She leads you right past them. All three of them kind of stop and watch as you all file in. But she leads you to a door, in which you find a very small cellar. Or not cellar, but a storage area. There's like a bunch of kegs of beer and boxes and things of that nature. There's another door that she leads you to, which she knocks once again and says, Mr. Crowborn, here they are, before opening the door. The door, as it opens, you can see leads into a small but comfortably furnished office. There is a desk in the middle of it. There's a few chairs in front of it, and seated behind this desk is probably one of the more interesting creatures you've all seen since coming out into space. The individual seated there, well, looks like, well, it's blue and it's see-through. It looks kind of like a slime, if a slime was bipedal with two arms and a head. The defining outline shape is humanoid. But the creature is completely see-through when you're looking through its head. However, it's also wearing clothing. A simple shirt, breeches, and a small conical hat perched atop of its head. Kind of like a fez. You all stop and stare for a moment at this individual as the door closes behind you. But the creature just sort of waves its pseudopod-like appendage towards you, beckoning you towards the table. Its head is down a little bit. It raised up when the door opened, but goes down again. And you can see in another of its, appendages, there is a quill, and it seems to be writing something on paper in kind of an odd structured language that you haven't seen before. Once it's finished writing, the creature looks up towards you all, and in an odd sort of warbly voice, it says, "I was informed that you wish to speak to me. You are the individuals on the ship that just docked. Is that correct?"
Good. Are we wearing a sign? Yeah, I mean, it seems everybody knows we're new in town.
You certainly look that way. I would call you
not for
all
nothing.
green, but... And then the pseudopod kind of waves towards...
Hey, come on.
What can I do for you?
Well, and I guess this is the if this is the person we're looking for, we were sent here to bring something to you. Don't know what it is, but I assume a mutual friend asked us to deliver it.
You speak of the bombastic.
It's certainly one word for him, yes.
It's hard to really get a read on this individual. They don't have facial features. And the voice that's coming out of it is kind of monotone. But even with all of that, you almost kind of feel like the creature smiles a little bit at that. I have been waiting on this delivery for quite some time. It's glad to know it has finally arrived.
What, may I ask, what did we deliver?
Supplies.
Aw, come now. Perhaps we could do some future work together. I just want to know what I might be getting myself into.
You can make a honeyed words persuasion check.
I'll go ahead and make, since I have to burn my advantage on this, so.
I feel like you're aiming for a 4 here.
Swear to God, if I miss this with a D6, 2 of them.
No. Why do you have 2 of them?
I had the coin.
You're using the random Rhapsody coin.
Yeah, because it's 10 o'clock, so I mean,
yeah,
might
absolutely. Might as well.
That is 2.
Lots.
Swear to God, if it's Gwyneth Paltrow's head, though, Matt, I'm not gonna.
What's in the box? What's in the box? Yeah. The creature says, "Oh, I was being serious. Some of it is ore. Others are aether stones. Others are supplies of similar nature." The creature kind of does this chest heave, that very reminiscence of somebody taking a deep sigh, as the creature says, "I understand why you would be suspicious of these things, but When I say it was supplies, I meant it quite seriously. You see, it has been extremely difficult to have shipments arrive here at the Rock for much longer than I would prefer. Piracy is rampant along wild space, as I've no doubt you can understand.
Yeah, we ran into some before we met the Bombastic.
No doubt about that. We have been having many difficulties getting ships in. Most of our ships inbound from Cryxilia have been hit, and word is that many along this route disappear completely. What few have managed to survive these attacks speak of horrible undead manning difficult to describe ships, attacking any who travel the lanes. The aether current between the Rock and Cryxilia is one of the two-way currents, and it skims right along the edge of wild space.
Was that the name of the Bombastic space?
No,
Or
it
is
is
that-
not.
Okay.
No, it is not. Cryxilia is this is the first time any of you have heard that name before.
So if you're having so many issues with pirates, we'll say the word, little bald monk, they seem to be wanting the same thing, but it seems like they're looked at as a bit of a joke or even a menace.
I wouldn't call them a joke, or I wouldn't call them a menace quite yet. A joke, certainly. Trying to find some willing to put their own lives on the line to hunt pirates is a difficult task out here. Most who travel only care about themselves.
So potentially, if we were to do work for you, we're gonna have to deal with those pirates anyway. Correct?
Any who travel the space lanes have to deal with them sooner or later. Many choose to drop cargo and flee. Others hope to fight it out. Some succeed, some do not, but the reports that have been coming in lately of these undead pirates, well, who wants to go up against that? However, if you are looking for a job, I would pay very well if someone could fly to Cryxilia, retrieve a shipment of cargo from my suppliers, and bring it back. Considering how dangerous this would be, it would also come with hazard and bonus pay if you destroy any pirates along the route.
Is this a planet, Cryxilia, or is this another, like,
yes,
space?
Cryxilia is the name of a sphere, a solar system, you might call it. It is the hold on one second. The Betty Lloyd homeworld. Betty Lloyds are an insectoid race.
Is there water there?
I've never been there myself, but I would assume so.
Man, I'm sold. Hey, I haven't been in water in a while. I miss it. And he seems just as... I mean, if the bombastic trusts this individual... I mean, what do we got to lose? Really?
I mean, honestly, I think I'm way more on board with this than I was with those guys out there. He sounds way less creepy about it. But also, we have a map that we can't read. We would have to learn how to get to this place.
Well, I'm sure they would tell us. It's not going to just be like, hey, here's a name. Google Maps that shit. That's me saying that, not Zolos, obviously. It's like, I'm sure we would get that info. But...
The
Another
the Aether current. Are you asking about the Aether current?
Yeah,
to
how would we get
Crixilia?
there?
The current does pass through this system. It would not be difficult for you to take it there and come back along the same route.
Obviously, further conversation is required, but what do we gotta
How
lose?
far would it be? How long of a travel?
He kind of looks like he's thinking for a moment. A pseudopod kind of comes up and rubs his head. It says, I believe it's a 2-week journey.
Round trip?
Round trip. About 4 weeks. Depends how fast your ship is. But that's the usual travel time whenever I need a shipment made.
So we're gonna need 2 weeks of supplies at least, if we can also supply ourselves back up there, and then okay.
It merits a conversation.
The slime creature nods its head and says, "Very well. My property will be removed from your ship within the hour. You are free to partake and enjoy the rock rat as much as you like. If you have any questions, you may, of course, seek me out, and if you are interested in the job, you can find me here."
Okay, this might not be exactly the question you had in mind, but do you know of anybody on the rock who's like a linguist?
Or at least someone familiar with very strange languages?
He thinks to himself, I could give you a name. I can't say for certain whether or not they could help you, but I do know of a scholar who is fluent in many, many languages.
That would be immensely helpful, yes.
Even like an eccentric weirdo person who seems to know like not real languages or talks about, you know, the uncharted wild space or has like weird kooky theories or stories, that kind of thing. Even someone like that might be helpful.
If you're looking
Maybe.
for kooky people with weird stories and much knowledge, I think you could do so by throwing a stone in any direction on the rock.
Okay, so that doesn't narrow it. Okay.
I deal in business and acquisitions and things of that nature. I know a linguist because I've had need of a linguist before. The pseudopod kind of reaches out and takes up the quill again and writes a name on a piece of paper. They fold it and place the pseudopod down upon it. As a show of good faith, you brought the shipment to me and have proven your value. He slides it over to you. And as you pick it up and read it, there is a single word upon it, written in common. Aravast. That's it. The creature then says to you, seek out the Rookfield. It is a hotel and casino. You will ask for that name there. They will know where he is. And that's...
Much appreciated.
The creature nods and says, and that, I believe, concludes our business, unless you wish to take on some work.
I mean, I'd be willing to take on some work. It's like, I won't speak to everybody else, but I'm down.
No. I think that's... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna... I think it's the best offer we've had so far, but so far, it kind of seems like everywhere we go, we get a job offer, so maybe we should retire and talk about it instead of agreeing immediately.
That's fair.
Hey, conversation's all that's needed.
Okay. Well, that's where we're going to end things for this evening. Y'all have some decisions to make. You have asteroid to explore and all of that, so I think it should be fun. Yep. Well done, everybody. You have made it to the rock. You have dropped off the cargo. I feel like you've done a pretty good job here. Well done. Well, thank you to everyone who watched this evening. We very much appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us. Come back in 2 weeks to find out what job our heroes take and what they plan to do from here now that they are on this trade outpost. Should be a lot of fun. As always, we like to go around the table and have everybody tell us who they are and where we can find them on the internet. And Joe, you're the one who did the recap, so why don't you go first?
Well, I am Joe. I was Zolos Vohnagath. You're handsome boy. Coming Wednesday, I will be Corwin Oliver Goodwood during our Curse of Strahd campaign. I know we just kind of took out the Baron. Didn't kill him, but he's under arrest. Now, things are getting interesting, and I think we sold our souls to help a terrible person. But then again, it's Barovia. So,
Who knows?
Yeah, everything sucks there. So come on, 6 o'clock Wednesday night. Come back and watch us.
Right on. Nico, you're next.
Hey everybody, you can, I've been your very fluffy, wild-eyed Dr. Ezra Bloom, and you can find me out in the world on my social media at Static Blue Stray. Thank you for having me.
Right
Excited for next time.
Coins, you're next. Can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Peach.
Nope, still nothing.
Bird.
Weird. Nope, still
just
nothing.
mime what you need to.
Alyssa, why don't you go next while Coins is figuring out his shit?
I've been your little lark with bad aim. And yeah, I can be found not very many places on the internet, but I do have an Instagram where I showcase all the crochet things that I make, and I also do them by commission and sell them. So hit up Alyssa Crochets.
She makes awesome stuff. Coins, you figure out your stuff?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yep, we can hear you.
I'm Coins. I play Dreezy F Boomy. If you want to find me on social media, everything is at Devil Fetish.
Right on.
What does the F stand for?
So many things.
Ain't that the truth? Nobody, you're next.
Yeah, I am Nobody, and I have been playing your amateur waterbender Skarn today. You can find me on the internet at Nobody Adams on Twitter and Blue Sky. That's Adams with 2 Ds, and just at Nobody on co-host. I do a ton of stuff. This week, though, I'm going to forego advertising most of it. I just did a guest spot on the Battle of the Blorbos podcast, a podcast in which every guest brings a character that's important to them and ranks them completely objectively based on how they would do at randomly determined challenges, such as Dr. Doom versus Jughead Jones, who would be the best children's librarian.
Jughead.
No, I'd say Dr. Doom.
Not the latest TV show.
No, not even that.
Dark version. I'm talking the original comics. Jughead.
Tons of the library vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to come and pay the snack tax, and he'll tell you anything you want to know about any book.
Well, as always, I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and game master here on the network. You can find me on all the tweets and other socials as @ScruffyWanderer. I do a lot of stuff. I'm on a lot of different places, mostly here, occasionally over on All on the Table, occasionally over on Lost Caravan, and a whole host of other stuff that I don't want to get into. I do tons, and I'm going to be doing tons more, and I'll probably keep talking more and more about that, but you can always find me here every Monday and Wednesday. So come back and check us out. It's always a lot of fun. Wow. On behalf of everyone here and on behalf of everyone here in Random Rhapsody and everyone in the Wayfinder crew, I just want to say thank you, folks. It's been a delight. So long. Good luck. And until next time, may the winds of Æther ever fill your sails. And good night.
Okay, goodbye.
I